Welcome to the Project Management Professional, or PMP, course. In this course, we will learn the essential concepts and practices of professional project management.
Welcome to another explainer. I am so thrilled to have you here today because we are going to tackle a concept that is an absolute game changer for anyone who organizes, manages, or executes complex work. Whether you're building a skyscraper, launching a new software product, or just trying to pull off a massive corporate event, understanding scheduling is literally everything. Today, we're bringing high energy to a highly effective strategy, the critical path method, or CPM. We're going to break down CPM step by step, look at a really practical example, and show you exactly how to take control of your timelines so you never have to guess where your project actually stands. But hey, before we get into the math and the methods, I want you to ask yourself this. What actually controls your project's completion date? Seriously, think about it for a second. We've all been there, right? Staring down a massive, stressful missed deadline, wondering where it all went wrong, and wishing we had some sort of crystal ball to see which specific delay actually tanked the entire schedule. The truth is, not all tasks are created equal. Knowing exactly what dictates your final delivery date is pretty much the ultimate superpower in project management. To get us to that superpower, here is our roadmap for today. We'll hit 1. Introducing the critical path. 2. Defining the critical path. 3. A step-by-step example. 4. Understanding project float. 5. Why the critical path matters. And 6. The project manager's focus. Okay, let's dive right into this. Section 1. Introducing the critical path, the foundation of scheduling. Let's start with the formal definition. The critical path method, or CPM, is a scheduling technique used to determine the sequence of activities that controls your project completion date. Notice that heavy emphasis on the word sequence. Projects are rarely just one isolated task. They're these complex webs of interconnected, dependent activities. Some things can happen at the exact same time, while others absolutely must happen strictly one after another. And honestly, managing that web can feel completely overwhelming. But CPM, it's the ultimate diagnostic tool. It cuts right through the noise of a busy project dashboard and highlights exactly which sequence of events actually holds the keys to your deadline. Now that we know what the method is trying to achieve, let's move right along to Section 2, defining the critical path, identifying the longest route. Simply put, the critical path is the longest duration path through the project network. And actually, scratch that, let me repeat it, because it always sounds a bit counterintuitive at first. It is the longest duration path. When we want to get things done fast in our daily lives, we usually look for the absolute shortest route, right? But in project management, the longest sequence of dependent tasks is what determines the absolute earliest date your project can possibly finish. You literally cannot be completely done until this longest chain of events is completely done. It essentially acts as the inflexible spine of your entire project schedule. Now, what's really interesting is what this longest path actually means in everyday practice. Activities on the critical path generally have zero total float. Zero. That means there is absolutely no wiggle room built into them. If a task is on this path, it cannot slip by a single day, an hour, or even a minute without pushing the entire project deadline back by that exact same amount. The stakes for these specific tasks are incredibly high, and identifying them early on, well, that's what separates good managers from great ones.
Conceptual definitions are great and all, but as always, we learn best by doing. So let's move to Section 3, a step-by-step example, putting CPM into practice.
Let's walk through this hypothetical project together. Imagine we're installing a brand new, highly complex piece of machinery in a factory. The sequence of events is strictly linear here, and each step relies entirely on the one right before it. Step 1 is the design phase, which will take exactly 10 days. Once the design is totally locked in, we move to Step 2, procurement. This involves ordering the custom parts, which takes 20 days. When those parts finally arrive on the loading dock, we hit Step 3, installation, taking 15 days of intensive labor. And finally, we finish up with Step 4, testing, which takes 5 days to ensure everything is running safely before we hand over the keys. So if we add those up, 10 days for design, plus 20 for procurement, plus 15 for installation, plus 5 for testing, we get our total project duration for this path, 50 days. I really want to anchor that number for a second. That sequence takes 50 straight days of work to complete. It sets the absolute baseline for when this machinery will be fully operational. And this brilliantly illustrates why the longest path is totally the boss. Imagine that alongside our 50-day machinery installation, we also have a separate, totally independent team painting the factory floor. Let's call that the alternative path. And their sequence of painting and drying tasks only takes 40 days. Well, even if the painters finish completely on time in 40 days, the project as a whole just isn't done. The machinery team still has 10 days left of work. The 50-day path is the longest, so it dictates the true schedule. That makes the 50-day sequence the critical path and renders that 40-day path non-critical. So what exactly happens to the tasks on that shorter 40-day path? Do those guys just sit around? Well, that leads us perfectly into Section 4, Understanding Project Float, Finding Your Wiggle Room. Float is the amount of time an activity can be delayed without affecting a defined project milestone or the final completion date. Remember our factory painters? Their path takes 40 days, but the overall project has 50 days to complete. That means they have 10 days of float. They could literally start 10 days late, or a single task could take 10 days longer than expected, and that final 50-day project deadline will not shift by a single second. Float gives you flexibility. It allows a project manager to breathe a little bit. It is a massive contrast to that rigid, highly stressful zero total float of the critical path we were just talking about. Now, understanding the math is one thing, but understanding the consequences is a whole different ballgame. Let's move to Section 5, Why Critical Path Matters, the Real-World Stakes. Here is the absolutely crucial point. If a critical activity is delayed by 5 days, and this is vital, if no recovery action is taken, the project is delayed by 5 days. You cannot hide a delay on the critical path. If your procurement step from our earlier example takes 25 days instead of 20, your entire 50-day project becomes a 55-day project instantly. Without paying expensive overtime to crash the schedule or overlapping tasks in a highly risky maneuver, a delay on the critical path is a guaranteed delay for the entire project. There is nowhere to hide. Knowing how incredibly high the stakes are for these zero-float activities, how should a leader adapt their daily strategy? Let's transition to our final section, the project manager's focus, where to direct your energy. As a manager, your time is strictly limited, right? So you have to guard the critical path aggressively. Critical activities should receive your closest attention, specifically regarding these 6 areas. First, resources. Are your absolute best, most reliable people assigned to these critical tasks? You just can't afford a weak link here. Second, procurement. Are you personally tracking the shipping numbers and customs clearances for materials on this path? Third, technical issues. If a bug or a glitch pops up here, it requires an immediate all-hands-on-deck response. Fourth, approvals. Don't let a critical task sit on a manager's desk waiting for a signature. Literally walk it into their office yourself. And finally, safety and quality. Why? Because an accident or a failed quality inspection on the critical path stops the entire project dead in its tracks while you rework it. You have got to proactively manage all 6 of these risks. Bringing the whole shebang together, here is the key takeaway you should capture today. The critical path method helps project managers understand exactly which activities have the greatest influence on project completion. It shifts you from being completely reactive, just running around putting out whatever fire is the loudest, to being highly proactive, managing the specific sequence of events that actually dictates your success. It's all about strategic, targeted focus. I want to thank you so much for joining me to explore the mechanics of scheduling today. And I want to leave you with this provocative final thought to carry into your very next team meeting. Are you actually focusing your energy on the path that dictates your deadline, or are you just burning time managing the float? Think about it, apply it to your workflows today, and keep learning. See you next time.
Critical Path Method identifies the longest sequence of dependent activities that determines the minimum project completion time.